Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Murdoch Fitness. This is Zach, and this is my second episode of my Smolov Jr. series where you see me take on the notorious Russian bench program. I'm doing Smolov Jr. because I hurt my leg. I was coming off a pretty successful training cycle, and I ended up hurting my leg after completing that training cycle. And I kind of had to go to the drawing board, and I was thinking, well, what can I do to improve my powerlifting total without training the squat or deadlift? And that would be to bench more. So today I'm going to kind of talk about how my approach to bench more rides on overtraining, how I'm trying to kind of overcome or mitigate that. And particularly how I'm adjusting or thinking about my technique in this context. So looking at Smolov Jr., you're bench pressing 4 times a week. You're using 70 to 85% of 90% of your 1 rep max, which is still pretty significant load in the context of benching 4 times a week. With doing at least 30 reps a workout. 7 times 5 is 35, so I did 35 reps at 260 today. And kind of, according to conventional wisdom, that sounds like a little bit too much. The way that most people structure their training, they train a lift in 1 or 2 sessions a week. They leave about 2 to 3 days in between sessions to let the muscles recover from, being stimulated by that movement. But I think kind of defying that approach and taking a kind of different approach to improving my bench press is sustainable right now. I have a lot of recovery potential available, and I'm taking measures to ensure that I can continue to recover. Ultimately, I kind of want to show that high frequency training is not overtraining, and one of the measures I'm kind of taking to do that is called active recovery. So as you're seeing here, I'm doing band pull-aparts. I did some tricep extensions earlier, and the intent of active recovery is to kind of drive blood into the soft tissues around the joint areas that are getting stimulated a lot. If you'd like to hear kind of more about it, I talked about it in my last video. So in addition to active recovery, I really want to talk about my technique today. Technique really breaks down to the relation of the body to the bar and the bar's path, and nailing both of these is going to be really important to ensure that we're working the areas we need to work in the bench press properly. So what you're about to see is my 3-step technique for setting up my body position, and what you're looking at now are bar paths. So I take this 3-step approach to ensure that I can get the most efficient bar path that my biomechanics will allow me to take. So for the bench press, our relation to the bar is influenced by our position on the bench. And our back is the main point of contact with the bench, so it's important to set the back first. So specifically, we want a tight upper back. We're creating tension similar to that band pull apart you just saw there. That creates a concentrated point of tension from our traps to the bench. So you see that feedback loop of tension between the bench and the body. That's really important for utilizing full body tension. And setting the back first also allows us to find the grip that's most suitable for us. So your grip, notice that my elbows aren't traveling past the back of my torso and that my forearms are remaining vertical. So creating the correct back tightness, as you'll see here, that's step 1, and there I'm finding my grip. So there are a couple of other steps after setting the back first. Namely, what I'm doing here is I'm extending my thoracic spine very subtly. I'm just trying to raise my sternum towards the ceiling and get the highest point of contact for the bar. So as I'm lowering the bar, my glutes are tight, my legs are tight, my heels are driving into the floor, and I'm creating a tension loop from the floor to the bench. And additionally, I'm using some of the downward force of the bar to push my body into the bench. You can kind of get a clearer view of that here. So look at how I'm pushing. It's subtle, but I'm trying to dig into the bench as much as possible with my back. And by doing this, I'm creating and reinforcing that full body tension from the floor through my torso, through my arms into the bar. And really focusing on maintaining consistency in that technique is crucial for making sure that my body is able to safely handle the workload that I'm subjecting it to. a high frequency program can promote a good training recovery balance if you do it intelligently. So I'm really trying to keep these sessions within the 40 to 45 minute range. That's, you know, a little bit, probably 15-20 minutes shorter than my usual training sessions. So I'm only trying to do stuff that I know is going to reinforce technical points. As you see here, I'm kind of working with that back tightness, which is, you know, the first step of my bench setup, and sort of isolating it and trying to contract the lats hard as I would if I were resisting the bar in the lowering phase of the bench press. So those technical points that I kind of ran through, those are also things that I think about in my assistance work. This is more along the lines of active recovery as well, doing these curls for the biceps, and getting blood into the elbow joint. Notice I'm actually actively extending at the bottom, similar to a tricep extension. That's just going to help kind of, you know, continue to warm up that elbow joint and drive blood and metabolites and good stuff into there. So yeah, really, you've seen the bulk of my workload for today. I didn't really do much more than what you saw here, and that is how I'm keeping it for these workouts. I need to keep them short, sweet, and effective. So like, subscribe, follow me at Murdoch Fitness on Instagram. I will be posting my next Smolov video on Monday the 22nd. That will be an 8x4 at 275. And yeah, that's all, folks. Thanks.